Good morning. Welcome to the open meeting of the New Mexico Public Regulation Commission. My name is Michael Smith. I think some of you know me. I am general counsel and I'm currently wearing two hats today. I'm acting as interim chief of staff due to former chief of staff Wayne Probst's departure from the Public Regulation Commission and taking his position at the Division of Finance and Administration. The commission is proceeding using the current Open Meeting Act policy, which was in place under the prior commission. So you recognize that the agenda follows the format that the previous commission had adopted. That will be a matter for the commission to address at a future meeting to determine how it's going to proceed when it adopts an open meeting policy. Today, because there is no chairman carrying over from the previous commission, I'm just handling these initial issues. And so the first item on the agenda is the call to order and roll call. Because we have a much smaller commission now, I'm going to ask the minutes reflect that we do have two commissioners present. We have Gabriel Aguilera and Patrick O'Connell. And so we do have a quorum present to conduct an open meeting and to take action under the provisions of the Open Meeting Act. The next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance and State Pledge, which I think is everybody's favorite part of the open meeting. And I will lead that today. First, the federal pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Second is the state pledge. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. The next item that's on the agenda is the consideration and approval of the agenda. This is a matter that I will make some recommendations to the commissioners, and I would ask the commissioners also for their input on whether certain items should stay on the agenda or be moved or taken off the agenda. My recommendation from the general counsel's office is, given that we do not have our third commissioner today, and there are some policy matters that are on the agenda, I'm recommending that we remove under section 8, discussion and potential action, the second item, which is consideration and potential approval of open meeting calendar for 2023. Second, the next item, resolution 11123A, adoption of annual open meeting policy and notice for 2023. The next item, resolution 11123B, adoption of annual commissioner code of conduct for 2023. And then following that, resolution 1-11-23C, a resolution adopting a protocol for the operation of the Public Regulation Commission, superseding and replacing resolution 11321. In addition, I am recommending that we consolidate items 12, 13, and 14, which when there was a separate chief of staff and general counsel, there were two items. Since I'm the same person acting today in that capacity, I think we could consolidate those. And likewise, we could consolidate, I think, all these communications with the commissioners and myself and into one communications item. The final thing that I would recommend is the regular action item, which appears at item 11A, transportation matter 23-03TREN, could be moved to the consent action item of the agenda. So this would be the first matter that I would ask the commissioners to weigh in on and to make a motion as to whether to approve the agenda with those modifications or to add additional changes.
Thank you, Michael, for listing those items. I agree, and I would like to make a motion to move the items that Michael has stated.
Yeah, I agree, and I guess I second the motion, so it'll be an interesting vote.
Just to clarify, I'm making the motion to move them to next week's open meeting.
That's correct. Sorry, I may have been unclear about that when I was presenting that. So based on that, I would take the roll. Commissioner Aguilera.
Aye.
And Commissioner O'Connell.
Aye.
And the agenda as modified is approved by a vote of 2-0. The next action, the next item on the agenda is introduction and opening statements of the commissioners. And I will back off and turn it over to the commissioners.
Well, good morning, everyone. I am thrilled to be here with all of you and ready to work for New Mexicans. I hope to hit the ground running on the substance. This is my first meeting, and there is going to be a procedural learning curve for me, but I hope to catch up quickly. I'm sure that many of you have read about my background, but to formally give you some background here at my first meeting, I grew up in Solon Park, New Mexico, went to school at NMSU. After that, I moved to Washington, D.C. to work at the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, worked there for 15 years and was focused exclusively on Western electric issues. And I worked in various offices, and most recently as an advisor to FERC Commissioner Allison Clements. And I'm very excited to bring that experience to bear here at PRC, and I am excited to learn from the staff at the PRC and to learn from you in your formal pleadings. And I aim to do this job with integrity, and I hope that I can make decisions that are in the public interest. There are a few people that I would like to thank publicly. First, I'd like to thank Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham for appointing me to this position. I'd like to thank the nominating committee for putting my name forward. I am honored to be here. I also want to thank Wayne Probst, who did an excellent job as chief of staff here at the PRC and made sure that he left the PRC in a much better place than it was when he arrived. I also want to sincerely thank the previous commission for their public service and the staff at the PRC who work hard and diligently to meet the PRC's mission. I've met many of the PRC staff already, and I really look forward to working with them more. And then finally, I'd like to thank my wife, Anna, and my son, Ivo, for being supportive. They are still in DC. I am actively looking at real estate here in Santa Fe. And, you know, I think just to sort of tell you a little bit of about my plans, until I can find housing here, I plan to be here for a 2-week stretch and then go back to DC for a 2-week stretch until, you know, I can find housing here. And hopefully that will happen soon, and we'll be able to immerse ourselves in, you know, the true Santa Fe experience. So there is a sheet going around where you could write down your favorite restaurants, and I'll tally them all up. Actually didn't do that, but maybe next meeting. But this is a good transition to my next topic, which is that we do value your opinions and not just about restaurants. I encourage all stakeholders to give us your perspectives in formal pleadings. I think this is the best way that we can make sure that your views are considered in the decisions that are ultimately made by the commission. And I also want to thank the governor for creating the Tribal Advisory Council. I think this is an excellent idea. And I hope to, work closely with whoever ends up on that council. And I hope that this really results in the PRC's decisions reflecting tribes' perspectives. So finally, to Commissioner O'Connell and Ellison, I guess, congratulations. I very much look forward to working with you, and I hope that the decisions that we make reflect the public interest. And with that, I will turn it over to Commissioner O'Connell.
Thank you, Commissioner. It's very eloquent and well put. Hello, I'm Pat O'Connell. It's great to see so many familiar faces in the room here. I've spent a fair amount of time with giving public presentations as a course of my job here in New Mexico. And so not as well prepared as Commissioner Aguilera, and I prefer to just kind of reflect on the moment that we're in. The commissioner has stated it's a moment of transition. That's absolutely true on a lot of dimensions. It's not just fresh faces up here. This is the first time I've seen many of you in years because of the pandemic. So we're all working on how to come through that. We came through that, and now it's a new era of working together. Just a little background on me. I'm very excited and thrilled to have this opportunity for public service for the state of New Mexico. I've dedicated my career to working in and around the utilities that provide the services that are regulated by Public Regulation Commission. They're just fundamentally important to daily life. The work that we do here at the PRC is crucial to making sure that those fundamentally important things happen in a way that all of us can afford it, and it's there when we need it. So my experience, having worked near the PRC or with the PRC, is admiration for the dedication of the people that work here. So that's another dimension of why I'm thrilled to be here. It's not just the opportunity for myself for public service, but the opportunity to work with this institution. And it's great to see so many PRC employees here today too. I brought some donuts. People know I'm not above buying love, but so please have one of those. And then, as Commissioner stated, grateful for the opportunity from the governor to have been appointed to this position. Another dimension of the transition is each of us is responsible for representing the entire state. It's not just moving from elected officials to appointed officials. We're moving from commissioners who had defined districts to commissioners that are looking out for the entire state of New Mexico. So again, I'm from Albuquerque. I've lived in New Mexico my whole life. Again, dedicated my career to this state that I love. So that is part of why I'm thrilled and excited to be here, and grateful to the governor for the opportunity. Having said that, let's go. There's a lot to do.
Microphone is muted, Mike.
The voice of Hans reminding me to turn on my microphone. Commissioners, we have the next item on the agenda is introduction of special guests, and we do have commissioner appointed or appointee or designee, I guess is the correct term, James Ellison on the Zoom call, and I believe he would like to introduce himself as well. He's not sitting at this meeting because he was appointed yesterday and has not had an opportunity to take the oath of office, and still is employed by his current employer. So looking at the board, Mr. Ellison, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Great. I'll turn it over to you to.
Great, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to address all of you. I certainly echo the sentiments of Mr. Aguilera and O'Connell. I appreciate the opportunity given by the governor to serve in this important role. Appreciate the support of the nominating committee. I thought I would talk a little bit about my motivation behind seeking a position with the PRC. I do believe that New Mexico is at a critical juncture, that the PRC is tasked with ensuring that the transition to renewables takes place, and that it takes place while preserving reliability and while ensuring that the cost of power be as low as reasonably possible. And it's certainly an honor to play a role in this transition. Some have expressed the concern that, the fact that the commissioners no longer represent defined districts could mean that concerns of people in different parts of the state may not be considered. I want to reiterate the sentiment of Commissioner O'Connell, and that we are all representing all parts of the state, and I pledge to represent all of New Mexico. I aim to be fair and open-minded, to seek the input of the Tribal Advisory Council, to listen to the viewpoints of all stakeholders, and I'm very optimistic that we as the PRC are going to do great things, and I'm looking forward to our work together. Thank you.
I'm referring to Hans Muller, who's our member of the Office of General Counsel who manages our agenda. Mr. Muller, how many people do we have signed up for public comment?
I believe we have 2 people for public comment today, both from PNM, and they informed me that they should be present in the hearing room to make their comments.
Thank you very much. I believe he's referring to Mr. Fenton and Mr. Monroy.
Hey, good morning, commissioners. My name is Henry Monroy. I serve as the Vice President of Regulatory and Corporate Controller for Public Service Company of New Mexico. I just wanted to share a few comments. First of all, congratulations to the commissioners on your appointment, and thank you for your service to the state of New Mexico. At PNM, we are dedicated to meeting the needs and expectations of our customers. And in doing that, we are also committed to working with stakeholders, commission staff, as well as the commissioners to achieve the goals and the policies of the state of New Mexico. So I just wanted to once again congratulate you. Look forward to all that we have in front of us. And then I will pass it over to Mark Fenton. Mark Fenton is our Executive Director of Regulatory Policy and Case Management. He has a few words.
Hi, as Henry said, I'm Mark Fenton, the Executive Director of Regulatory Policy and Case Management at PNM. And my group is involved in regulatory cases before the Commission. But one of my primary roles is also to be a liaison between PNM and the Commission. You'll see me here at almost every open meeting for the most part. I also work with commissioners on if there's something that gets media attention, like an outage, or there's something important going on PNM system that you may be getting phone calls on. I'll sometimes send you a text or give you a phone call just to alert you so that when you get that phone call, you're aware of the situation. If PNM is presenting something to the commission or needs to present something to the commission, I'm usually the person. So, you know, I know you work through your consumer relations division for outages and that kind of thing, or customer complaints. But if you need PNM, I'm your contact. I've been in New Mexico for 40 years, not my entire life, but the bulk of it, 40 years. And I've worked with the commission for a long time, and I totally understand how important the commission is to the state of New Mexico. And I've read the qualifications of all three commissioners, and we're really excited for all three commissioners. You're certainly well qualified. And I just also wanted to thank you all for being commissioners and doing the public service. And I thought they were great selections.
Thank you.
I believe that's all we have for public comment. Commissioners, the next item on the agenda is consideration and approval of prior meeting minutes. Those would be for the December 7th, 14th, and 19th, 2022 open meeting. This is somewhat of an awkward process because obviously you as commissioners were not present during those meetings. The Open Meeting Act requires that we prepare draft meeting minutes within 10 days of those meetings, and that they be approved at the next open meeting at which there is a quorum of commissioners, which is today. Those minutes can be revised subsequently if they're determined to be errors or something of that nature. But to be in compliance with the Open Meetings Act, we've placed this matter on the agenda, and I believe you've received a memorandum from Hans Mueller in our office with respect to the accuracy of those minutes. I would turn it over to you as far as a motion to approve.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Did receive a memo attesting to the accuracy of the minutes, and so I will move for acceptance of or approval of the meeting minutes for December 7th, 14th, 19th, 2022 open meetings.
And I will second that motion. And if we're doing a roll call, noting that, you know, I didn't attend, but as Commissioner O'Connell has said that, you know, we've seen the minutes and there's an attestation that they're accurate, I vote aye.
So I would take the votes. Commissioner Aguilera.
I vote aye.
Commissioner O'Connell.
Aye.
The open meeting minutes for December 7th, 14th, and 19th, 2022 open meetings are approved by a vote of 2-0. The next item, I keep saying action, I apologize. The next item on the agenda is the discussion and selection of the commission chairman. I would note that this is being done pursuant to section 62-19(3)(b) of the Public Utility Act now. This provides that the commission shall annually elect one of its members chair who shall preside at hearings. In the absence of the chair, the commission may appoint any other member to preside. And I will turn it over to the commissioners.
Just for discussion, I'm willing to serve that role as chair of the commission. My understanding is it's fairly limited to the scope that Michael just described. It's running these meetings. But having said that, again, willing to serve that role. But if you're interested in it, I guess we can arm wrestle or something. I don't know, feat of strength. But yeah, just wanted to share that and interested to hear your point of view.
Thank you for offering. I think you would make a great chair. I know we have to make this decision annually. So I support your proposal, and so I will make a motion then to make Commissioner Patrick O'Connell the chairman.
I'll second the motion.
So the awkwardness of only 3 spots and 2 present. So I will take the vote. Commissioner Aguilera,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connell,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Connell is appointed or elected, excuse me, chair, and I will stop talking after that and I will pass it over to Commissioner O'Connell.
Thank you. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is a discussion regarding advertising for vacant positions. The positions that we're contemplating advertising for are chief of staff, chief general counsel, and then the commission has 3 advisory positions available for hire. And so I think the discussion today is just agreement that we should advertise for those roles, and so we can get the hiring process going. So would love your comments on what you feel about moving forward with
that. I agree. I think these positions are certainly priorities, and I would advocate that we have a national search for these positions to ensure that we're doing our due diligence for the PRC and that we get the best candidates possible. So I agree.
I appreciate that. And then we received copies of potential advertisements for all those positions. My review of them is the chief of staff and chief general counsel is ready to be posted. I had a few comments on the advisory positions. They were designed as 3 positions. One was an economist, one is an accountant, one is an engineer. My concern with that is, I am a professional engineer. I firmly believe in the value of that certification. I'm afraid that creating a rigid requirement for professional engineering certification might mean that instead of 3 advisors, we end up with 2, as the search may take longer to find somebody with that specialized certification. Also concerned with the accountant position, it required a CPA certification. So I've been working with Ms. Kepler from the HR office to see if there's some flexibility on those positions. I think it's more important to have 3 professionals to help me than a specific certification, because these will be mostly policy positions. So anyway, that's just my opinion on where we're at, that I believe we're ready to post for chief of staff and chief general counsel. Want to do a little more work on the advisory positions from the old measure twice, cut once ethic. And so I guess the motion I would offer on that is let's go ahead and post for chief of staff, chief general counsel, and then so yeah, that's the motion for right now. And then we'll continue working on the advisory positions and get those posted as soon as we can.
Yeah, I agree with what you have just expressed about the advisory positions. I don't think that we need to just narrow ourselves to these specific disciplines, especially as you just mentioned, you are an engineer. So I think the more important thing is that we find the right people to advise us. And, I just sort of thinking about, my experience, I've worn many hats, obviously not, a licensed engineer, but it's not completely foreign to me. I think that if we can find people who are well-rounded and can advise us properly on several issues, I think that's the right way to go. So I second your motion that you just made to post for the vacant positions of chief of staff and general counsel, and to continue working on the advisory positions.
Okay, so I was thinking I might end up being chairman of this meeting, so I dug out Robert's Rules of Order. There's only two of us, so I do not object to your motion, so I don't think we need a second. And then
Thank you.
and then I guess we'll do a roll call vote, even though I'm not sure that's necessary. Let the minutes reflect the vote. So how do you vote?
Aye.
I vote aye also. Okay, so next item on the agenda is a discussion regarding establishing the PRC Tribal Advisory Council. Commissioner Aguilera discussed that in his opening remarks. So to me, there was two valuable things we can do with that item in this meeting. One is express our commitment to moving that forward. I agree with the commissioner. That's a great idea from the governor. And personally committed to realizing that, and I'll even take a step further, just from who we are as a state, we might even be able to set our bar as high as creating a model for consultation for other commissions and bodies across the country. So that's what I would love for us to strive for. The other thing that I think might be worthy of a vote is, I think it'll be, the governor's office has already began the process. They've asked for nominations for people to serve on this advisory council. I think it'd be valuable if we can establish a point person among the eventually three of us, so we'll have ease of communication and interface with the governor's office as we move forward on that. Would love your point of view on that, and also entertain any opinion you have if we want to wait a week to establish that, to give Commissioner Ellis an opportunity to weigh in on that too.
Yeah, I think having a point of contact makes a lot of sense. Though I also think that it would be important for the council to meet individually with all of the commissioners, so that we're all able to listen to and consider their perspectives. But in terms of interfacing with the governor's office, as you stated, I think that makes a lot of sense. And just generally to everybody out there, if you know somebody who meets the qualifications, who you think would be an excellent choice for the council, please let them know, and that that they should apply for it.
Great. So should we make a motion to appoint one of us to be the focus for moving that forward, or do you want to wait a week?
I think that I would prefer if we waited a week.
Okay.
So that we could consider all of our expertise, and just make sure that we're picking the right liaison.
Great. Yeah. And there would be a lot of work to do to put this together, and I know some of the staff here have started thinking about it, which is great, and keep thinking about it, and we'll continue working on it, and appoint a point person next week. Next item on the agenda is a discussion regarding the telework policy, so I'll turn that over to General Counsel.
Commissioners, basically, we had this on the agenda because I think it's been known that the telework arrangements that the governor, had authorized in March of 2020 for all state employees are in the process of being modified. There is an anticipated or announced provision by state personnel office to have all state employees back in the office. I just wanted to let you know that we are in a special circumstance at the PRC with regards to the fact that the commission was removed from its original office, which had enough spaces for our commission, for the commission employees. And the current building that we're in now does not have enough spaces in our offices for all the employees of the commission. So we are in the process right now of going through the existing telework arrangements, and I've asked the different division directors to submit proposed modified telework arrangements and for employees who would not be able to be placed in the office. The idea is to maximize the use of the building and still be able to essentially use the flexibility that telework has provided us to do that. And that's basically where we are at this point.
Yeah, thank you for that update. And so just make sure I understand, we'll be looking at updating a telework policy in the near future.
Yes, initially right now what we're doing is we have a telework policy that is in place in our state in the commission personnel policies. It is not restricted to the governor's emergency declaration that was adopted in 2020. And so there are individual telework arrangements, I should say, between individual employees based on that. And so we will be looking at basically the policy and those individual arrangements.
Thank you. Do you have any questions on that?
Yeah, I have one question. Just if you could give us an idea of how many people fit in this building, and so how many people we don't have space for.
I do not have that on the top of it. Is Renata present? Renata has those numbers exactly. And I don't know if you've met Renata. I think you have. This is Renata Perigallon, our ASD Division Director for the public.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. We have approximately 40 offices. We have utilized some offices as shared space. I think that gets us up to around 46. Currently, we have 116 FTEs. When you look at pipeline safety and transportation, which are generally in the field, that takes us down to about 90 FTEs that we're trying to put into the building. So we're looking at about 90 FTEs and approximately about 46 desks throughout the building.
Thank you.
Okay, so no further discussion on that item. I think we can move on. The next item on the agenda is designation of commissioner member to Southwest Power Pool Regional State Committee. My understanding is their Southwest Power Pool has a commissioner from each of the states that the Southwest Power Pool operates in. Traditionally, that has been the role for commissioner that represented the district of Eastern New Mexico, where Southwest Power Pool is and operates. So again, going back to our opening remarks, another good example of transitions. Two things there where the three of us are responsible for the entire state. We're not broken down into districts, so there's not a clear preferred commissioner for that role. And then the other is just in the space of regional markets. SPP is participating in the conversation of how to advance regional markets across the West through Markets Plus. So to me, that's a more interesting question, which of the three of us should be on that committee than maybe it would have been earlier. So that's just my framing of it, my understanding of it. Would love your point of view, especially with your experience working in regional markets.
Yes, so, in terms of regional markets, this is one of my areas of expertise and, something that I'm interested in. And I don't know if we have a sort of a deadline on when to decide. I believe that we do not. This could be something that I am interested in, but I would also probably prefer to wait until next week so that we can to decide if, who will represent the PRC on the regional state committee. It's similar to the tribal advisory council, so we can consider all of our strengths and preferences and make a decision based on that.
Michael, do you know if we have a deadline on appointing somebody there?
Commissioners, I don't believe we have a deadline per se. My understanding from Mark Tupler, who's the staff representative who goes with the commissioner to those meetings, is that the next SPP meeting, regional state committee meeting, has educational meetings during January and a monthly meeting on January 30th, 2023. So a per se deadline, no, but there is a meeting at the end of the month.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is, I agree with Commissioner Aguilera on this one, and this was the first thing that popped up. It's also clear that there are many opportunities for commissioners to sit on many committees, so that's something the three of us are going to have to work out. Also, is not just interest and experience, but make sure we can only be in one Zoom meeting at a time, right? So we'll need to figure that out a little bit. So anyway, what I'm hearing is let's defer this item to next week when the three of us can sit down and talk about it together.
Yeah, and just one final comment. I think this is an important discussion decision rather that we should make next week. Just generally in terms of regional markets, a lot of them are being designed right now as we speak. So I do think that it is very important for us to be in those conversations to make sure that whatever solutions come out of those discussions represent a good outcome for New Mexicans.
Agreed. Thank you. So I think with that, let's move on to the next item, which is discussion regarding reporting of potential legislation to the commission. New Mexico State Legislature starts next week. Expect many bills as it's a long session. So I think the item on the agenda here is an opportunity for Michael to explain to us the process that the commission will follow as we're doing things like considering bills and filling out financial impact reports. So can you please take that away?
Commissioners, that's basically what this is for, is to indicate that what we're doing right now is we will be tracking the bills. We've subscribed to a service called Roadrunner, which provides reports of updated during the day of what the status of various bills are as they drop and as they progress into committees and ultimately before the full Senate or the full House. And we will assign appropriate staff to prepare FIRs. They have a 24-hour turnaround typically, so those reports get to put together and go out the door very quickly. The issue that I wanted to discuss is the commission's interaction with us on those bills. What we would do is basically place these matters on the agenda for the commission to consider, because the Open Meeting Act is somewhat rigid in terms of the specificity which we have to give to what we're considering. it doesn't allow us to just say legislative matters that might be pending or pertinent to the commission. It's not specific enough. And so what we have typically done is we prepare an addendum that we attach to the agenda and indicate what are the bills that are of interest to the commission. Those bills may be changing at a moment's notice, since we have to give 72 hours notice 72 hours minimum in advance posting of the agenda for an open meeting. That means that the agenda otherwise would not necessarily pick up, a bill that the commission might want to address if something's going on at the legislature. If we tried to make a choice of specific matters based on what was happening 72 hours out. So we attach that addendum, and then the commission can decide to address and discuss whatever legislation happens to be of interest at that time.
Yeah, thank you. Do you have any questions about that process?
Not at the moment. No, I don't.
Yeah, I guess my advice is buckle up. Okay, looking forward to this next item on the agenda. It's introduction of PRC staff to commissioners. Michael, I don't know if you have a structure or a plan for that, but I'd say I'll turn the meeting over to you to MC that.
Sure. So basically what I have asked the division directors for the various divisions in the commission to basically introduce themselves to the commissioners so that you can attach faces to the names that you are seeing. I guess a week has gone further by in terms of when we initially thought we would do this. And so I think you've had the opportunity to meet some of those people, but nonetheless, I'll ask them to present themselves and identify their bureau chiefs. And I've asked everybody to keep it short, keep it down to 2 minutes or so. Obviously, the commissioners have the discretion to ask questions if they want, but I notice I am first on there. And so I think met some of our general council members. And I'm not sure if everybody's here, but I would ask them just to stand up. Judith Amer is our attorney 4 in the office. Robert Lundeen is an attorney 3 in our office. And I don't see that we have any of the others. Mr. Fisk is, I think you got a message, is in front of the Supreme Court at this moment. I think he'd probably be more comfortable here right now introducing himself, but he's enjoying that oral argument, I'm sure. And the other members of general councils, you will have the opportunity to meet. So I will turn it over to the next division. Mr. Medeiros. Is Anthony here?
Side chat.
He snuck up on me. I didn't even know it was. You've been sitting against the wall.
You're in the nave, right?
Good morning, commissioners. Congratulations. I'm Anthony Medeiros. I'm the chief hearing examiner. With me is the deputy chief hearing examiner, Christopher Ryan. And with us is Elizabeth Hurst, hearing examiner, Angelica and Ellen is here. And our paralegal, Anna Kippenbrock was here earlier. You probably have already met them before. As you know, the hearing examiners are your delegated case managers. We develop adequate records, we manage the proceedings, we develop evidentiary records, and we crucially draft and issue recommended decisions and other dispositive forms of order for your consideration. I provided you a memo last night that sort of lays out the myriad of cases we already have and their assignments to the various hearing examiners, and we very much look forward to working with you and serving you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next division that is the legal division.
Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Bradford Borman. I am the Director of the Legal Division. I've met one of you before, but I'm looking forward to meeting the rest of you. A brief note of the Legal Division. We have 8 attorneys and 2 paralegals. We represent the Utility Division and the Transportation Division in matters before the commission and proceedings that utilities or transportation companies bring. And we provide legal advice and services to the commission as an entity for matters that are not contested matters before the commission. That's our role. I indicated that we have 8 attorneys, our senior attorneys, and I think some of them may be on the Zoom. None of them are present in the room. Would include John Bagatko, Melchior Savarese.
Good morning.
Oh, there's Mel. There's Mel.
I figured out the Zoom. Good morning, commissioners and everybody else. Melchior Savarese.
Hi, Mel. And
Brad.
I believe they're on the Zoom. If they are, they could say hello.
I already said hello. Good morning.
Well, thank you. I look forward to working with you all.
Thank you, Mr. Borman.
I'm going to have to start referring to you more formally.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm David Black. I'm a supervising attorney.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Black.
And moving on, the next division is the Utility Division.
Good morning, Chair O'Connell and Commissioner Aguilera. My name is Ed Rilkoff. I am the Utility Division Director. The Utility Division regulates electric utilities, natural gas utilities, water and wastewater, and telecommunications. The Utility Division staff consists of 26 positions, and there's also 4 in the Consumer Relations Division. The staff is excellent. We are lucky to have seasoned team leaders and talented new members on our team. There are 5 bureau chiefs, and I'm pleased to say that we just hired a senior advisor, Mary Jane Parks, who's working on special projects, including community solar. The bureau chiefs are not only managers, but they are subject matter experts and mentors to staff. We use a team approach for cases. A typical case is assigned to an engineer, an economist, an accountant, and an attorney in the legal division. At any given time, we are involved in about 100 cases. I would like to now introduce the bureau chiefs. This is Alicia Leyba Tercero, our economics bureau chief.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioner. I'm Alicia Leyba Tercero. I am the Economics Bureau Chief in the Utility Division. I've been employed as the Economics Bureau Chief for about 2 years now, but I've been employed by the Commission for over 11 years. I hold a Bachelor of Business Administration degree with a dual major in Economics and Business Management and a Master of Business Administration degree with a concentration in finance. My bachelor's is from New Mexico State University and my master's is from the College of Santa Fe. With regard to the Economics Bureau, we currently have 7 positions in the Bureau. My position, 1 senior economist, Mark Tupler, 5 economists, Christopher Dunn, Mamadou Ouattara, Georgette Ramey, and Agatha Mellick, and we have 1 vacant position currently. And with the exception of our senior economist, all of our economists in the Bureau are fairly new hires within the 2 years that I've been employed as the Bureau Chief. We handle a variety of cases in the Economics Bureau. Cases that are the sole responsibility of the Economics Bureau include annual renewable portfolio standard cases, triennial energy efficiency plan cases, financing applications, and we also work on a variety of cases in collaboration with the other bureaus in the utility division. Currently, we're working on several cases. Just to highlight a couple, we're working on the Southwestern Public Service Company rate case and the Public Service Company of New Mexico rate case. We're also expecting an EPCOR water rate case. And just a note on that, in all the years that I've been employed with the PRC, I don't recall ever working on 2 major rate cases filed right on top of each other, let alone 3. So I think it's going to be an extremely busy year for staff with those cases, along with the several other pending cases that we have. And that's all I have for right now. So I'll hand it over to the next person unless you have questions for me.
Thank you for that presentation.
Okay,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Alicia. Okay, the next person I'd like to introduce on staff is Gabriela Descheno. She is our accounting bureau chief.
Morning, Chair, Commissioner. My name is Gabriela Descheno, and I am the Accounting Bureau Chief in the Utility Division. My degree is in accounting, obviously. I joined the PRC's Utility Division as a utility economist in 2018. I became the Accounting Bureau Chief in December of 2020. Prior to my employment with the PRC, I worked 16 years at the New Mexico State Land Office in regulatory compliance of the oil and gas industry. Our accounting bureau consists of 6 staff members, myself, a senior economist, his name is Jonah Malden, and we have 4 public utilities economists, Naomi Velasquez, and 3 of my positions are currently open right now, hopefully to be filled soon. The main responsibility of the accounting bureau is to analyze the revenue requirement of the utilities that come in for a rate case. Based on team input, as Ed mentioned, there's the engineer, the economics bureau, and myself. We will adjust that revenue requirement and present it in testimony. We are also responsible for the fuel and purchase power clause and the purchase gas adjustment clause. We work on the transportation electrification plans and grid modernizations. As Alicia mentioned, we are working on the Southwestern Public Service Company rate case, the Public Service Company of New Mexico rate case, and also the Public Service Company of New Mexico grid mod and FPP-CAC, as well as the New Mexico Gas Company liquefied natural gas facility. And that's about it for us. Do you have any questions? Sorry, I was trying to be brief in under 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next bureau chief I'd like to introduce is Richard Martinez. He's our engineering bureau chief. Hey, Richard.
Good morning, commissioners. Good morning, and staff. My name is Richard Leon Martinez. The engineering bureau consists of 2 sections, the electrical engineering with our subject matter expert, Mr. Jack Seidler, gas, water, and wastewater engineering with our SME, Mr. Tim Martinez, and Mr. Eli LaSalle is also our SME in both sections most proficiently. I started with the bureau as bureau chief with the New Mexico PRC in October 2022. My educational background includes Bachelor of Science degree in civil engineering with UNM and Master of Science degrees in urban regional planning, civil engineering and engineering mechanics, and watershed management and environmental resources with the University of Arizona. My experience includes project engineering, project management, engineering, environmental permitting and cultural preservation, value engineering, and quality control management. I'm a registered professional engineer in Arizona, New Mexico, and Saudi Arabia. Previous employment includes private consulting firms in Arizona, City of Tucson, Departments of Transportation and Water, the Universities of New Mexico and Arizona, and the Bechtel Corporation on projects in Saudi Arabia, New Mexico, Washington, Kentucky, and Utah. Our team works well with the other bureaus, as mentioned before, on some of their tasks and responsibilities, and including legal and administrative staff to complete our responsibilities timely and effectively. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Richard. Yep. Now I'd like to introduce David Martinez. He heads up our consumer relations division. And I'm not sure if David is live or on Zoom.
I'm actually on Zoom.
Okay, thank you, David.
No problem. 1 second. I apologize.
So good morning, commissioners and PRC staff. I'd like to start off by saying welcome, commissioners, to the PRC. My name is David Martinez, and I've been with the PRC for 8 years in the Consumer Relations Division as a compliance officer. This summer, I had the opportunity to apply for and was promoted to the Consumer Relations Division Bureau Chief. Just a quick brief, the Consumer Relations Division is responsible for review, evaluation, and investigation of complaints from the consumers of the state of New Mexico regarding utility, transportation, telecommunications, to keep them in compliance with the rules and regulations set by the Board of Commissioners. I'm sure we're going to be working close with the commissioners and your assistance. Also, we have 4 members of our CRD team. You probably met the face of the PRC, Amanda Beta, as she greets everyone as they enter the building. She's our executive assistant. And we have 2 compliance officers, Amanda Armijo and lead compliance officer Henry Trujillo. We all work on the complaints for the consumers of New Mexico, and we basically we take care of whatever complaints come into the office. Like I said, we're probably going to be working pretty close with the commissioners and your assistants. If you need any assistance from us, don't hesitate to reach out. And I know there's a lot to cover in today's meeting, so I'm not going to get into the deep dive into anything. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you,
Appreciate
David.
that. Thank you.
Sorry. Okay, I'd like to finally, last person I'd like to introduce is Mike Ripperger. He's our Telecommunications Bureau Chief.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, welcome to the PRC. Let me tell you about my bureau and myself. My name is Mike Ripperger. I'm the Telecom Bureau Chief. I have a master's degree in economics from the University of New Mexico. I've been with the Commission for over 24 years, and I've been the Telecom Bureau Chief for approximately 22. The Telecom Bureau is comprised of myself. We have 2 public utilities economists who are relatively new, Tosin Olafanaso and Brady Tollison. We have a telecom engineer who's been with us for 15 years, Eugene Evans. And we have a compliance officer that I believe has been with the agency maybe 5-6 years, something like that, Gilbert Fuentes. So to explain just briefly some of the duties of the Telecom Bureau, we are responsible for handling all the telecom related cases before the Commission, including activity related to a $30 million state rural universal service fund. And there's a broadband program that's associated with that. A lot of our activity is comprised of dealing with the designation and recertification of what are called eligible telecommunications carriers for eligibility for state and federal universal service fund support. We also recently concluded, the Commission concluded an inmate operator service provider rulemaking for inmate rates and service. And there's a lot of other various telecom matters, odds and ends that have to do with compliance with state rules and statutes. And there's a large variety of telecom providers that we have oversight over, including some level of oversight of broadband providers. So you'll become familiar with this over time as these cases come before you. A lot of them are on regular scheduled, I'd say, dockets. And so as they come up, you'll become more familiar. And the General Counsel is fairly familiar with these cases also. So you'll see as time goes on. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, as long as it doesn't have to do with an adjudicated case. And again, your General Counsel is fairly well versed on these matters also. So thank you and welcome.
Good. Thank you, Mike. The only thing I'd like to add is we have 30 total positions, and we have 4 immediate open positions and 5 total. And that was, under the leadership of Wayne Probst. We've been working hard to fill those positions, and trying to hit a target maybe of the end of Q1 to be fully staffed. So we're getting there.
Thank you.
The next division is the Transportation Division. Here's your cover.
Good morning, commissioners, staff. My name is Jesse Montoya. I'm the Transportation Division Director. And on behalf of the Transportation Division, I'd like to welcome you and congratulate you on your positions. The mission of the Transportation Division is to protect the interests of New Mexicans by effectively enforcing provisions of the New Mexico Carrier Act, the Code of Federal Regulations, New Mexico rules and regulations that pertain to transportation. The division also enforces the federal minimum safety standards for interstate gas pipeline facilities and all state regulations and rules specified to pipeline safety. Our organization consists of 28 full-time employees, and we are fully staffed at this time with no vacancies. And it's headed by myself, Division Director, and division has the following areas. We have applications, UCR Bureau, and that is managed by Yvette Hetzer, and she's joining us via Zoom at this time. Opportunity to introduce yourself.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Yvette Hetzer. I am the Transportation Application Supervisor. I have been working with PRC for the past 8 years. We currently have 2 employees that work in applications. That is Justin Garcia and Debbie Garcia, and I just want to welcome you to PRC.
Next, Bureau Chief is Compliance and Investigations Manager, Bureau Chief Fidel Archuleta.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. I am Fidel Archuleta. I'm the Transportation Investigations Compliance Bureau Chief. First, I'd like to congratulate you all on your appointment to the commission. My team consists of 5 investigators: Manuel Anaya, Vince Crespin, James Martinez, Amalia Padilla, and myself, who does double duty. Compliance has 2 support staff, Kevin Bay Borjorquez and Christopher Gutierrez. The team looks forward in working with you all. Thank you.
Next Bureau Chief would be Ambulance Railroad Bureau, Casey Dunn.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Casey Dunn. I'm the Ambulance and Railroad Bureau Chief within the Transportation Division. The Ambulance and Railroad Bureau is responsible for the application processes and compliance measures for ground ambulance transport service in the state. The Bureau conducts safety inspections on ambulances and investigates complaints, ensuring compliance with the Motor Carrier Rules and the Ambulance Standards Act. In addition, our Bureau also inspects railroad services and investigates incidents, collisions, and derailments. We enforce the railroad safety standards through a partnership with the Federal Railroad Administration. At this time, our team is comprised of 4 full-time employees: Compliance Officer Ms. Crystal Boys, State Investigator Moises Pena, State Hazmat Investigator Bob Poovey, and myself. In addition to ambulance and railroad matters, we also assist the director with tariff change applications for all tariffed service motor carriers operating in the state. If the commissioners or any staff ever have any questions in regards to ambulance or railroad, you can definitely contact any one of us in the Ambulance and Railroad Bureau. And with that said, I'll now pass the mic back over to Jesse.
Thank you, Casey. Next individual would be Pipeline Safety Manager Jason Montoya, who is here with us today.
Morning, commissioners. Congratulations. Echo everything everybody's already said. Real briefly, the Pipeline Safety Bureau consists of 14 FTEs. That includes myself. And we basically split the bureau into 2. We have a natural gas and hazardous liquid pipeline safety program. where we're constantly conducting periodic inspections to ensure federal and state regulations. And then on the other side, which you're probably both familiar with, the call before you dig, 811, excavation safety. So it's also a job of ours to ensure compliance and safe excavation. One of the things that I just want to clarify is there's a lot of confusion out there on does the Pipeline Safety Act and they overlap with the Utility Act, the Public Utilities Act. We are definitely different. We have our own acts, but there is additional authority that we have throughout the state. Municipalities, for one, if they have underground facilities, they have to report to our office. So we also conduct audits and inspections of the town of Mountain Air, Wagon Mound, City of Las Vegas, City of Las Cruces, to name a few. So those are a little bit independent from your Public Utility Act, but they still are under jurisdiction under pipeline safety. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, commissioners, and look forward to working with you in the future.
And next division is the administrative.
Good morning, Chair O'Connell and Commissioner Aguilera. I'm Renata Perry-Galen. I'm the Director of the Administrative Service Division. The Administrative Service Division is consistent of IT, our Records Bureau, and then also Financial Services and Budget. I will say we deal with about a dozen oversight agencies in our division to get the work done for the agency. The best way I can explain ASD was best put by a secretary that I previously worked for. She said basically ASD was the tires on the vehicle. And if the tires were flat, the vehicle was not going anywhere. And that's pretty much ASD. We are here to support the agency. Melanie Sandoval is our Records Bureau person. She was not able to be here today, but she did give me some notes to convey to you on the Records Bureau. They do maintain all of NMPRC's legal files on the online database eDocket. They're also responsible for accept, post, and storing the agency's legal documentations in a manner that assures prompt and efficient public access, as well as the complete and thorough archiving of records on behalf of the agency. They also, Melanie is the one that heads up IPRA requests, getting those going, working with legal and OGC on all IPRA requests for the agency. I'm going to bring up my other two managers. One's our Chief Financial Officer, Miranda. Is she still here? Okay, she is here. So Miranda is our Chief Financial Officer, and she heads up the Financial Services and Budget.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioner. Welcome again. I am Miranda Mascareñas, the Chief Financial Officer here at the PRC. I've been here about a year. Previous to that, I was the Chief Financial Officer at the Office of the State Auditor and also at the Department of Finance and Administration. Our division's responsibility is to oversee the fiscal transactions for the agency. And part of that is ensuring we're in compliance with state statute, the State of New Mexico model of accounting practices, in addition to governmental auditing or accounting standards. We do receive an annual audit. I will be presenting that to the commission in upcoming meetings to give you our fiscal year 22 results. Our group does consist of 6 FTE, including myself. We also have a budget manager who unfortunately was unable to be here today. But with that, we oversee all fiscal transactions, purchases, and assist with any of your needs when it comes to travel and those transactions.
Okay, and then Miguel Lujan heads up our IT. Miguel.
Good morning, commissioners. You guys know me. You usually meet me right off the bat, but we oversee all the computer servers. We have our server room located at the Sims Data Center, and we have a tunnel over to this building. Oversee the cell phones, VPN connections, anything you guys need. We have networking staff, server staff, help desk position. So anything you guys need, I'll program my number in your phones. I'm also a great info guy because I know about most of the employees and their numbers and how to get a hold of people and what people do. And so really good at that. So Nice to meet you all.
So that's our Administrative Services Division. We're here to support the agency. And please don't, if there's anything you need, please feel free to reach out.
Yeah, thank you. And then, some comments that were made earlier, your group is who has helped onboard us. So I've had the most interaction with your team and thankful for the fantastic help I've received so far.
Microphone is muted.
Sorry about that. This is your HR team. As Sarah and I deal with everything from onboarding through hiring, assistance, recruitment, you name it, we do it. So please feel free to reach out to us with any questions you may have. We look forward to working with you and hope you enjoy your stay with the PRC.
Thank you.
We have one additional person who has is Arthur O'Donnell. Oh, there you are. Behind the screen. And Arthur.
O'Connor and Commissioner Aguilar and all the people listening, thank you very much for the opportunity. I am probably the newest employee. You have more seniority than I do, as my official start date was Monday. As Michael indicated, this is a brand new position at the Director of Policy Administration, so my exact portfolio hasn't been determined yet. I would hope to continue the work that I've been doing for the past 2 years. I was a Department of Energy fellow in the Solar Innovation Program, working directly with commissioners and the Office of General Counsel on strategic planning and working specifically on rulemakings that help bring the clean energy transition to the state. And in the past year, we were very successful with the PRC passing 2 major rulemakings, the interconnection rulemaking and the integrated resource planning and procurement rulemaking, also implementing the Community Solar Act. And I was deeply involved in all of those things. On community solar, I work closely with Mary Jane Parks, who is now part of the Utilities Division. So you have some continuity. And that's really what I hope to bring and to work with you directly on the issues that are still facing the PRC. I anticipate that we are on the cusp of a grid modernization rulemaking that I hope to discuss with you, because there's been a lot of groundwork over the past 2 years for that. And it ties in very nicely with a lot of the other applications from utilities that you're facing. I have in the past just worked on rulemakings, not on adjudicated proceedings, but we're open to whatever you need me to do. So basically, thank you very much. I really look forward to working with you. I will say that I'm based in Albuquerque, and I've kind of given up the hope of having an office here. So I'll be one of the people that takes advantage of the telework, but I'll be here when you need me. Right? And hope to have regular weekly check-ins with you if that's what you wish. Mike, thank you.
On our microphones, Hans Muller. Hans, do you want to say something other than turn on your microphone?
That's generally my role here, is just to tell people to turn their microphones on. Good morning, commissioners. My name is Hans Muller with the Office of General Counsel. I have been with the commission for 3 years now, mainly in dealing with transportation pipeline matters, but now moving on to New Mexico Gas Company and larger rulemakings. I've been able to talk with Commissioner O'Connell a little bit and introduce myself, but I look forward to introducing myself and working with both of our other commissioners as you will get to know me. But as you are aware, I've been mainly in charge of making sure the agenda and the items run smoothly as well. I don't think I will always be in charge of that, but for right now, both myself and Patrick Rodriguez have been kind of in charge of monitoring the Zoom meetings for open meetings and the agendas as well. But I look forward to working with the commissioners, and I can promise next week we will start kind of deep into it as we have some pressing matters that you'll hear from me next week. So great being introduced to you and looking forward to working with you.
And the other attorneys up there is Erica Stefans. Erica.
Commissioners, my name is Erica Avila Stefans, and I'm definitely the newest addition to the PRC in the Office of General Counsel. My focus is generally transportation cases and formal complaints. And I look forward to working with you and meeting you in person.
Thank you. And I believe that's it for our office. We have also Lorianne Santianas upstairs is our law clerk. And I think you may have interacted with her already. She's provided some materials to you. And I've provided the commissioners with copies of all our resumes and what their various areas that we in the Office of General Counsel, the cases and the IOUs that we handled. I think we may have missed one person who's Patrick. Is Patrick here? Patrick Rodriguez? Oh, he's running the meeting. Okay.
Yeah, I'm right here.
There he is. Okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, good morning, Mr. Chair, commissioners. Yes, so I'm Patrick Rodriguez. I'm the Public Information Officer for the PRC. I've been with the agency since June of last year, so relatively new, but not as new as you all. So my chief duties are, revolve around handling communications for the agency, distribution of press releases and other communication documents. I also handle our social media channels, and I run the Zoom meeting, the open meetings, Zoom portion of the meeting. So, along with other various tasks I'm needed on, and please feel free to reach out to me if you do have any questions about if you are contacted by our wonderful media representatives across the state. Feel free to reach out to me, and I'll help you as much as I can. So, and again, welcome.
And I think that's it. And I apologize to anybody if I've missed somebody. I was surprised when we got a copy of the org chart. There were changes on there that I had not been aware of in terms of the different divisions. So I hope I didn't miss anybody. Nobody's shouting out, so I will pass it back to the commissioners.
Do you have anything you'd like to say, or?
The thing I would say is that I've heard a lot of really good things about the staff at the PRC, and I really look forward to working with all of you and learning from you. So yeah, let's get to work.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, and just reiterate, I came to this position with respect and admiration for the public servants that make this work. So I echo the sentiment, looking forward to working with all of you. And as we've heard, there is a lot to do. So we'll work through it together. Okay, so not sure I took the best notes on the adjustments we made to the agenda at the beginning. There are no consent action items.
Actually, yeah, we did move the transportation matter 230003 TREN to the consent action items.
Thank you. I forgot that. So do we need to vote to approve the consent action item? So I move that we approve the consent action item.
I second that motion.
Take the roll, I guess, then Commissioner O'Connell
Aye.
and Commissioner Aguilera.
Aye.
The consent action item case 23-3 TREN is approved by a vote of 2-0.
Thanks. So then the last item I had on here was a consolidation of all the items that are assigned to you, basically.
Well, the communications, basically, we've had our communications already, and I thought that this was the suggestion of putting those together is that if you had additional issues you wanted to raise with me about, matters that we have not addressed or that you felt should be addressed in public, we could have that conversation now. As the public is probably aware, or at least anybody who knows the Open Meeting Act, the Open Meeting Act requires that a quorum of the commission must conduct its discussion of public business in the open meeting. And that means for us to be able to have a conversation now, it requires that we do really not between me and you as general counsel or the role of chief of staff, but for the commissioners jointly to have a conversation. It has to take place during the open meeting. With 5 commissioners previously, a group of 2 commissioners could converse, but because 2 constitutes a quorum, we're not able to do that anymore. And that does create some barriers to discussion. So that was the idea of that we would have a larger, I guess, communication opportunity, which were the commissioners. And if to the degree that you want the input from the chief of staff or general counsel, depending which hat I'm wearing, we could do that at that time. So I did not have specific items to raise at this time.
Did you have anything you'd like to add?
I don't have anything to discuss right now.
Great. Yeah, we're in early days and appreciate the comments and I don't have anything to add here either. So I think we should make a motion to adjourn. So I move we adjourn this meeting.
I second that motion.
Generally, a motion to adjourn doesn't, adjournment doesn't require a vote. But...
All right, well then, I think we're adjourned and thank you to everybody. Hope we got off to a great start.